right, what's good, everybody? Back again from the Ashes We Rise, the Black Phoenix podcast. MC and TR kicking it with you again. I do not have an opening. TR, the floor is yours to brag about your Eagles.
Yeah, you damn right. The floor is mine, man. The Eagles definitely took over. That game was better than I expected. The defense showed up. Jalen Hurts showed up, and I would kind of say like I know a lot of people are going to have some disagreement on this one, but Jalen Hurts definitely he almost for the first half, he almost didn't, been in contention for the MVP. Actually, I feel like it because the defense was so overpowering with the Mahomes because they shut him down, they shut Kelsey down. They really couldn't get anything going. But you can't give the MVP to a defense. But I'm good with it. Jalen Hurts definitely.
Yeah, I bet you are good with it.
He definitely silenced a few of the naysayers about him. And I've been a little critical of Jalen Hurts, but he definitely showed up. So it's an exciting thing to be an Eagles fan, and then also how we move forward because we still have this team intact as well as the DC. I know the OC's just left because he went to Saints, but for the most part, though, it's a good day to be an Eagles fan.
Man, I haven't seen a one-sided victory like that since the last presidential election.
Yeah, yeah. It's not the game that I think people were probably expecting, though. But some folks may say, Pat Mahomes might be on the downside of the career, though.
Hey, if the Chiefs are anything like the rest of the people I've been listening to, they're just gonna point the fingers and blame everybody else but themselves. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm surprised the refs didn't show up though. But hey, the game was too big to steal, I guess.
Onward we go.
Yep. All right. Let's get the show started. All right. We are going to talk about the upcoming Captain America movie, Captain America 4 Brave New World. And for me, I've actually been a fan of the Marvel movies for quite some time. When they started to do some weird stuff, pretty much after the Endgame had concluded, that's when Disney kind of went away from their roots. They started to, push other characters that people were not in love with, characters where people were just not invested with. And I think we saw a few of that happen with the Marvels, Captain Marvel, for the most part, because I believe she was supposed to take over after Tony, but then they had some ill-fated Disney Plus shows. But what we're going to talk today is how Marvel treats Black actors overseas, specifically in China. And the story that we're going to point to is The Dark Place. And The Dark Place seems to be, have a good finger on their pulse when it comes to like just pop culture and things related to Disney. But, going off of just looking at this article, Chinese poster for Captain America, Brave New World partially obscures Anthony Mackie's face. Is Disney abandoning its DEI morals for Chinese money? Which I think a few of us know Disney has been obscuring people, but it's just kind of like a conversation that no one really talks about. MC,
Is Disney abandoning their DEI morals for Chinese money? Yes. The answer is yes.
they've been doing
They
it.
and frankly, they never had any DEI morals. That was just from political pressure coming from the last administration, if we're being honest about it.
Right.
But Disney and Marvel have done this before. Doctor Strange, they completely recast the Sorcerer Supreme and made her a British white lady because they didn't. China had an issue with the concept of a Tibet monk being represented in the movie. So they're going to bend over to China. China has a lot of money. If you got money, people are going to bend over for you. It is what it is. Chinese people are even more conservative than we are.
Right.
Truth be told, they struggle to deal with black faces too. I'm sure they'll support the movie, but again, this is China. Things are different here. You're not going to tell China what to do. They got money. Shut the hell up. Play by our rules, or don't take our money. And Disney took the money.
Yeah. And Disney, looking at this poster, I guess most people probably wouldn't think this is the kind of a big deal, though. But I mean, to their point, to a lot of people's point, how Disney will do some marketing magic and try to hide the person's face. And so this is, Anthony Mackie here. You can barely see his face. Let me see if there's another story. This one actually I think was too bad though. But it's not, it's not like, completely in the photo. It's just part of it though, and so there's some to their credit, to some of the criticism. It's definitely accurate. Let me see if I can pull the most recent thing that just came out about Disney and their how they're marketing this, because I thought it was very, very interesting, that the way Disney, how they showed it.
Yeah, it's weird how they shift between sides, man. Because we know at one point they were heavy on the LGBT stuff too, but we also know there's countries. Moon Knight, for example,
Mhm.
Moon Knight did pretty well in Middle Eastern countries. They don't play that LGBT stuff over there though, so there weren't too many references of it in particular in Moon Knight. But Disney usually leans all the way in on stuff like this, and I guarantee you they caved on it when it came to those particular markets.
Yeah, I definitely. So here's the picture. So, whoops, that guy.
That guy, who happens to be
Anyway,
the main guy of the movie, by the way.
no. I was talking about the comment that this dude posted. Like, oop,
Oh,
can't hide that.
yeah.
Anyways, so when you look at this picture, this photo, like, at first glance, it's like, why would they crop this person out doing stand-in? Apparently this is for taking pictures. To me, I don't know how many people. I don't know why you need this cutout. That makes no sense to me, because all you need is just someone standing there, and then whoever has the picture, they're going to be the one telling you, "Hey, what's move left, move right, taller or whatever." Especially if you're short, you're not going to be able to stand in this photo anyways, though. So I think this is part of Disney being deceptive again when it comes to how they're treating like people that are black. So my question, and they did this to I forget the guy's name, was in Star Wars, the black guy, John Bugaya or something.
Yeah, I can't
Um,
pronounce his name, but I know you're talking about.
yeah, and then they also covered up Black Panther as well too. So in that photo as well. So there's enough proof out there to show that Disney is doing this. I guess my question would be, as Black Americans, like, what are we going to do about it? Because I still see people that are not separating that, Disney, or they don't care that Disney's doing this whole, what they do in China. Like, where are the protests? Where are the marches? Where are the boycotts on how Disney handles how they do marketing overseas? And maybe people don't care though, but how do we draw? Like, I see people can draw the line on that, but they can't draw the line when it comes to like some of these other issues, because people are quick to say white supremacy, but Disney is openly advocating censoring black actors when they're promoting their movies in China.
So I'll answer your question. What are we going to do about it? The answer is nothing. You're not going to do anything about it because you're still going to buy your Sheen. You're still going to buy
Yes, I forget.
your yeah. Sheen is a huge look. It's a lot of people buying stuff from Sheen, and I'm not going to just come at the sisters on that because white chicks and Hispanic chicks are
Hey,
buying from Sheen too.
real
They're still
quick
pushing
on that.
money into China.
Yeah, real quick on that. People was shook when the United States Postal Service had temporary banned products coming out of China. They was like, "Oh, my
Yeah.
Shein products, we have to go natural."
Hey, let's dig a little bit deeper on Disney's inclusion in DEI practices. I just posted an article fresh off the presses a couple days ago. They're being sued for discriminating against disabled visitors to Disneyland.
Oh,
So
shoot.
Disney, make up your mind. Which side of this are you on? Disney is so confusing to me, man.
You
But
know what?
I talked about last week how most corporations try to stay as neutral as they possibly can.
Yeah.
But Disney seems to just be doing the opposite. I mean, stay in the middle. Like, why do you have to do stuff like take black people out, like their faces out of images, or all the extra LGBT, messages in these movies? Like, pick a side, and that now you're rolling back DEI while you're doing that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
Speaking of
I'm
which,
confused by it. Like, are you standing on something or are you standing on nothing? Because I can't tell.
yeah, this actually just came out when you post that article, because I remember seeing something related to this. But they're going to remove some of these warnings on some of their classical films, and they want to say, I don't like how they listed this as Trump's DI crackdown. Disney is a private company. Like Disney can do whatever they want. Disney has been doing whatever they want when it comes to how they want to list their movies, how they want to list their TV shows. And
Oh, they're
so,
fighting. They're fighting with the governor of Florida right now because they essentially have been. They're treated like the Catholic Church down there. They have their own land. They have their own individual tax rates that they
oh
pay.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Governor DeSantis. So yeah, Disney is definitely has definitely turned around when it comes to DEI stuff, though. But that's only United States. And so when you're doing all this openly stuff overseas, it seems like people just turn a blind eye to it. So you're right, people are not going to do anything when it comes to patronizing their product. People know how to draw the. People can definitely draw the line though, because I saw this trending on Reddit where people were talking about how Disney was censoring Anthony Mackie's face, but also these same people are subscribed to the Marvel community. Well, Disney owns Marvel. Are you going to leave the Marvel community? Nope. Are you going to cancel your Disney Plus? I don't think so. Even though they did have a drop in subscribers for their last earnings, but people definitely aren't going to do anything, and I think it's just more to do more about fake outrage, or when people want to be conveniently they want to boycott. But you're definitely right. People aren't going to do anything, and it just calls out the hypocrisy that a lot of these fake activists have for Disney or when it comes to other topics.
Yeah, I know you talked about the drop in subscribers, but I was actually looking at their financial statements before we started the show tonight, and their revenue was up, so they're making money somewhere. Maybe it's the Disneyland trips or something. I don't know. And they
Yeah.
also have merchandise and stuff as well, but it's certainly not from the Disney Plus. So I'm wondering about that myself. Where's that revenue coming from? But Disney, they're confusing. They've always been confusing. I'm just going to stick to comic book stuff. I understand that movies like Dumbo and Lady and the Tramp and all that stuff probably do need some type of warning on there. I
Hmm.
mean, you remember those crows on Dumbo. I mean, you
Oh
want to
yeah,
talk about a
yeah,
black stereotype.
yeah.
Jeez Louise. But if you really want to rebrand yourself, change your name. I mean, we remember how Walt Disney felt about certain groups of people. You know what race I'm talking about, but you know I'm
Yeah.
not going to say that.
Hey, I've been waiting to use this.
I'm not going to say what race, what people. No, I can't say that.
Man, I've been waiting to use that one though. This never has definitely come up though. But speaking of Yay, unfortunately, he's been I don't want to say he's been blacklisted or not blacklisted. That's not the correct interpretation of what's going on though. But I want to say his accounts have been definitely temporarily banned for a little bit though because of some of the Walt Disney teachings. I believe the Walt Disney for the '60s, I guess. But yeah, going back to Disney though, yeah, definitely they've definitely seen the writing on the wall. And this is the other thing too. If DEI was so important to some of these companies, then why are they, we talked about this last week, why are they just abandoning it so quickly? And then it's also opening doors for them, just like you said in that lawsuit with the disability. That's definitely putting them in a risky positions though, because you can't say you're for something and then you back away from it and then you start getting these lawsuits. Like that just makes no sense though, because Disney just doesn't, they don't understand this, and you would think they would have understood this like for the last several years, from the backlash from their TV shows not doing well, their movies not doing well. So the writing's been on the wall for a while, but they want to wait till Trump tells them like, hey, we're not doing DI in the government. That has nothing to do with the public sector, the private sector, but apparently it does.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this DEI stuff is going to roll globally too, because I know Doge announced today that there was a ton of money that was going out for DEI and acceptance training in
Oh
other
yeah,
countries such as Afghanistan and Uganda and places like that. I think they used like $50 million for training sessions for people to talk about their feelings about DEI. And
yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm so frustrated with the way this country spend money. That's a pivot. But anyway, Disney, you're confusing to me. But as long as you get back to making good movies, because for a while you were putting out some trash in the Marvel space, you were putting out some trash. But as long as you get back to the good stuff, I'll start watching again.
Yeah, what was funny? I think I feel a little bit. I'm actually. I mean, I don't know if I'll see the Captain America movie. I mean, I'm not saying I love the Captain America's movies, but I might go see it. But some of the other movies that have come down the pipeline, I'm actually, looking forward to it. So,
Yeah,
especially
like
when we got the
Fantastic
X-Men.
Four, stuff like that.
The Fantastic Four, I don't know yet, just because I got to see what the Silver Surfer looks like, because they regendered the Silver Surfer, whatever that's called. They switched the genders on the Silver Surfer, which I know everybody's going to be out there. Oh, this could be
Oh, I
anybody.
didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah, yeah.
that.
Whatever. The point is, they didn't have to do it on the first iteration of Silver Surfer.
So did they change the gender of the Silver Surfer, or did
Yeah,
they change because Galactus is one of Galactus? I'm gonna pull my comic book nerd hat on for a minute. One of Galactus's heralds was a woman,
yeah.
but the Silver Surfer was the first one, and he was a man for sure.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people will say like, well, it could be, that's probably one of the unisex positions. Like, you could be in the Marvel, that it could be anybody, and there's actually been a lot of characters that have been, his herald, but I forget the girl's name. She was on the, oh man, she's actually pretty cute too. Here, let me just pull up some images, make sure they're all safe for work.
If you're talking about Disney,
Family
she's
show.
probably gonna be non-binary. I'm assuming.
Yeah, non-binary indeed. Yeah, so this is her. That, like I said, was it Julia Gardner, I guess is her name.
Julia Gardner.
Yeah,
I have not heard of. Okay, well, she's the Silver Surfer.
yeah, she's going to be the Silver Surfer, all 4'5" self of herself. Yes.
Well, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I
Now I
guess
will
we'll see how it
say,
goes.
she can she I want to say she is cute, so we'll see if they try to make her into a boy. Like, whenever
Yeah,
a woman is cute or beautiful or good looking, what Disney has been doing in the past, as of the last 4 years, they've been trying to make them into, make them less attractive. So we'll see what happens with her though, but she's definitely going to be that's what people are waiting for. I wasn't too impressed. I saw the trailer. I wasn't too impressed with how they made the thing, but everybody else I'm cool with.
well, if you're DC Comics, now's the time to attack because this is the weakest Marvel's ever been. But we'll
Man.
see.
DC. All right, let's get to the next topic.
Yep. So Janelle Monae has some smoke for Nelly. She apparently has some issues with him performing at the Trump inauguration. But let's roll that clip and see how she feels.
Issues, you say?
I used to like Nelly, but then he went to perform for Donald. I don't do it. I'm with my family. Ain't nobody gonna
Wow.
beat up us, and I'ma look back like I don't give a. I care about women. I care about Hispanics. I care about Spanish people. I care about Mexican. I care about people. I care about Asians. You showed out. I used to think you was cool, but now you look like a mother fool. Going to the inauguration to participate with some who don't give a about who you feeling. I don't care what you really saying. I might be a little tipsy, but I know everything I'm motherfucking saying. Now,
Man, I'm glad. Hold on.
Warning, enemy nuke has been launched. Repeat, enemy nuke has been launched.
What makes this even more relevant is
Oof.
this video didn't show it, but Nelly was in the audience. He took it well.
I thought he was in the audience. Okay, I thought I saw a video of him in the audience. That's
Yeah,
man.
he took it well. But Tr, what are your thoughts on Janelle Monae coming for Nelly?
Man, this is one of the things I dislike. So first of all, you can feel how you want to feel about who all performed their XYZ, blah blah blah. Okay, well, I don't see her going after Snoop, and even though she's doing a cover to Nelly's music while he's in the audience, the point is, I didn't see her going after Snoop, or making any outlandish allegations towards Snoop, or who was it, Soldier Boy. I didn't see her say anything about Soldier Boy either, but again, she was just doing a Nelly cover, so maybe that's why she said it. um this is just straight disrespectful, because if Nelly comes out and says anything, he's going to be the one in the wrong. She is singing his song, doing a cover to his song while he's in attendance. And rather than just, entertain people, these idiots have to like always make everything politicized. Like, I don't understand why she thought that was like the best thing to do. And not to mention, Nelly just had a kid with what's her name again? Um
Ashanti.
Ashanti. Ashanti, why are you quiet? Like, I'm not saying you need your woman to fight your battles, but when it comes to like, when a woman is coming after your man and just essentially going to mess up his money, I'm just saying that she's messed up his money completely. But when a Janelle Monáe, she's taking like these shots at your husband, she's taking shots at your family. That is the father of your firstborn. I think that's her firstborn, right? Yeah.
That's you're probably right. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So that's the father of your firstborn. That's just damn mean something. So for her to come out here and say all these things and everybody just like, here, let me go back to this real quick then, because this is the other thing that like annoys me when people do stuff like this. Like, this is look at this. Everybody's just smiling. Everybody's just thinking it's all fun and games, blah, blah, blah. Man.
She called a dog whistle. That's why. If you look in the crowd, you saw it was mostly women, mostly black women and Hispanic women. She kind of rallied them together to go at Nelly.
Yep.
Because I don't know it. So Janelle Monáe doesn't really have a whole lot of men in her shows these days, and I'm going to get. Let's talk about hypocrisy for a minute.
Did she used to be non-binary for like 5 days or something?
I don't know what the hell she is these days, but it's not heterosexual. I'm gonna come back to that in a minute, but I want to focus on her Janelle Monáe's hypocrisy. But I'm going to have to screen share. Let's talk about her. I'm gonna set the tone real quick.
What? Here's the skinny. Because she said this, and I don't want to lie, I don't want to quote her. Dating music! Y'all can't wait to call every woman B, ho, discuss violent acts against women, etc. for clout and rap, rock, and throughout music history. Misogyny has never been okay, yet it become normalized. Women didn't create misogyny, y'all did, so you did the work to abolish it. And then she said, I really only want to hear women rapping. The amount of misogyny for most men in the rap music is infuriating. We need to abolish that S2.
So I share that for a very specific reason. Beware of so-called pro-black people, because if you really listen to what they truly are, they're pro-black women, but they're hiding behind being pro-black. Janelle Monáe has been talking down on black men for at least 2 to 3 years now. But let me ask y'all something. Who put Janelle Monáe on? Who exposed her to the industry and gave her a light to shine? Because I didn't hear about her until I heard her collab with the Dungeon family.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Which, last time I checked, was a group of men.
Yep.
Let's go further than that. I'm not going to play this video, but I will ask you all to research it yourself. Janelle Monáe did an interview on Power 106, Los Angeles, about 9 years ago, but it's still relevant. Guess who she gives credit for being her mentor and helping her start her label and mentoring her and teaching her how to navigate through the industry? Guess who she gives that credit to?
I know it was a man, but who?
Sean Diddy Combs.
Wow.
Do you think she might have been involved in those parties that are?
Hey, we can't play that?
It's a 30-minute clip. I mean, I can drop it here if people want to watch it later, but I got it up.
I was going to say, we get to the part where she acknowledges Diddy.
Yeah, I tried to scan through it, but I'm like, nah, I'm going to just let people research that on their own. But here's another thing.
Definitely a Diddy crap.
Here's another thing that we need to be mindful of when it comes to people like her. One of the problems that we have, especially in the black community, is people who are not heterosexual have the most things to say about how heterosexual relationships should work.
True.
Ma'am, you withdrew yourself from men however long ago that was. You shot this video, by the way, where a ton of beautiful women, by the way. We do have that in common. You are constantly talking down on black men and misogyny. But ironically, when you hear this music today where these young women talking about they got hoes in different area codes and these Cardi B's and these Vegas stars, she ain't got no smoke for them.
Yeah.
So definitely. To me, all I see is hypocrisy. And to me, all I see is a woman who is not heterosexual, who always seems to have something to say about how men are treating women. And in that regard, ma'am, I bid you good day. I'm not trying to hear anything that you're saying.
Yeah, Janelle Monáe. Unfortunately, a lot of these. Apparently, if you are a female singer or rapper, especially if you're black, you have to be on the Diddycrat side because I don't think I've seen anybody that has definitely been out there supporting Trump, like truly supporting Trump. I think I forgot what's her face. Red, sexy red said something, but I think she was either
She
trolling or
changed her position after black women stepped on her neck.
yeah, I knew something happened like that. So, anyways, so with Janelle Monáe, she's just out here doing this this fuckery again, where she's trashing men, black men, especially in this situation. She ain't going after any of her white zaddies. So, black men, here you are again, being the target of another female rapper who is saying, "Hey, Nelly, I know you're trying. I know this is an entertainment gig. I know you're an entertainer, and I know that I'm going to sing a song that's I'm going to do your cover to your song and diss you right in front of there. But you shouldn't have did that whole Trump thing. Why couldn't she just have that conversation? Just maybe she doesn't have that relationship with him. Maybe she could send him a DM or something. She could have. There's plenty of paths where she could have went down where she doesn't openly go after Nelly. And this went viral for a little bit. It wasn't like just burning up the airwaves for the next 3 to 4 days though. But the point is that's just disrespectful, man. Like Nelly has definitely been I want to say Nelly, he definitely carried the 2000s for a little bit though, along with Luda, but for the most part though, Nelly just hasn't had the hits like he used to at the early stages of his career. But he definitely helped move the music industry. So it's not like he didn't do anything in the rap game. Nelly was definitely a pioneer when it came to like collaborations. Like I want to say Nelly's probably the king of collaborations when it comes to different genres.
Yeah, and we talked about Deli and Snoop and all them the last episode, and I read a lot of the comments on that video, and a lot of people were like, they didn't care about any of the community service that he did. As soon as he performed there, they were just done.
Yeah, yeah,
It really shows how one-sided and single-minded we
all
are,
mine did.
and I'm telling you, as long as we continue to think like this, we'll never be taken seriously in any political space. But
No.
it is what it is.
Nope. The community is cooked because when you allow stuff like this just to openly take these type of shots, like I would almost wonder what would happen if I already know the answer to it, but just let any times like when a black man is just pretty much just doing his job, he's the only one that could definitely, well, black men in general, they're the only ones that could definitely catch smoke for just doing something that most people are just doing. Like there's some expectation that you're supposed to side with whatever the community or community you're from. You're expected to just go along with it. And I saw a lot of people on Reddit just going after Nelly, just stripping his his blackness from him. And it's like, y'all y'all not even married to black women. Like
TR, check this out. I just used my Gemini AI license to give me a summary of that interview. In the very last sentence, it says Janelle Monáe has said that Diddy is a mentor and a strong supporter of women.
Yeah, we saw how that's working out for Diddy. Which
So, who's taking this lady seriously? I'll give you some credit. You're a great musician. You're a pretty solid actor, but I suspect that you're a terrible human being.
actor.
So, yeah, she was in Hidden Figures.
I never saw that movie. So
It's actually a pretty good movie, but I'm into aeronautics and science and space and stuff. But it's
yeah.
actually a pretty dope movie.
Hey, what other movie she's been in?
That's the only one I can give you.
You know what? I think she was in the Outcast movie, Ottawa. I think she was in that one. I don't quote me on that, but I think she was in it though.
Well, I guess while we diving into her movie resume, oh, I forgot she was in Knives Out. That was a good movie too. Not gonna
Yes,
lie.
you're right. I just as soon as you said that, yeah, you're right.
But okay, we just said something positive about her after we trashed her. I still think she's probably more than likely
positive. We were just trying to figure out what other movies she's been in.
I gave her some credit for some great roles that she had, and she can sing. She can sing. Electric Lady was a pretty dope album, but again, I'm distancing myself. It's over for these people that's trashing black men. Y'all done.
Yeah,
you get no more attention from me.
Well, also, it's not just even trashing black men. I think the point that you hit on earlier is that she doesn't really even date black men like that, though. So the community needs to stop letting these people that are not in the community, that just look like us, represent the community, especially if they're not. I mean, you're talking about trying to be pro-black and everything and pro-Diddy-crat. Then you need to be married to a black man and you need to have black kids for I take you serious about anything in the black community. Like, let's have that conversation first.
Yeah, I doubt that. I'm over this chick. I'm done.
Yeah. I'm sure she'll be in the news cycle down the road. So,
Oh, I'm sure.
yep. All right. Next topic.
All right, y'all. So, with Valentine's Day coming up, I figured we'd take a little bit of a focus on how trash we are towards each other as a society. Gen Z has got some issues when it comes to dating. So let's
Oh,
watch this and talk about it a little bit.
yeah. Let's do that.
All right, folks. So the phrase "demography as destiny" is attributed to French philosopher, also the famed father of sociology, Auguste Comte. And essentially, it means that you need to have a growing population to have a growing economy. With that in mind, take a look at this. This is the birth rate of United States. And I got to tell you, if the statement, either that statement Auguste made is a lie or this is going to catch up to us later. I happen to believe it's the latter. It will catch up to us later. So the question, of course, is can or will Gen Z come to the rescue? I want to bring in now New York Post columnist Ricky Schlott. All right, Ricky. The 65 and older crowd will be 37% of our population come 2040. We need you guys to come to the rescue.
Yeah, I don't have too much faith in us, unfortunately.
Hold on. Was that a Me Too situation?
Man, nowadays, who knows, man?
I bet you they had to rehearse that like 2-3 times. Like, look, I'm just asking because that's what they wrote.
You know, it's funny. I find myself qualifying all of my statements the most with Gen Z.
Hey, he's showing teeth. Look at him. Like, he got him a nice little piece of calico right here.
That's a flat back for sure. I don't know.
Hey, flat back for sure. Kirkland flat back.
Yeah, some people like them. It is what it is.
Definitely. I mean, statistically speaking, the majority of young people who are childless right now, 56% say they just simply don't want children. It's not even that it's a factor of circumstance. And I hear frequently from my friends, they're worried about bringing kids into a dying planet and a climate catastrophe or the state of the world right now. And so I think it's even a little bit more ideological with young people today.
20 years ago, a professor in Japan, now Japan has always been ahead of us on this sort of social media, internet kind of stuff. And these improvised these games where you become the person in the game. So he came up with a phrase called grass eaters. Mm-hmm. Essentially, it was the young men there rejected their parents. Their parents were proud. They would work for the same company for 50 years. They would do a 2-hour commute both ways. And they were really proud of that. Instead, these kids, they slept all day. Mm-hmm. They played video games all night. They immersed themselves into this world. Their population is going to go from 120 million people to 80 million people. And about 50% of them said they have no interest in sex at all. The reason I bring that up is you wrote a pretty provocative.
All right. I know this is a serious topic. I know for the most part, you don't have to have like ass or anything, but you got to have something up here. What is this? Where are they?
Look, on a positive note, more than likely, she's always going to be thin. So there's that. I mean, it's all about what your taste are, what you want. But
who let her wear
did
that?
You hear what they just said?
Who let her wear that skin tight dress? I know I'm supposed to be talking about real shit, but come on. You gonna put some candy up here? Put some candy up here.
And you know, Fox typically does put a lot of eye candy up there.
Yeah, you know, you're right, absolutely right. They'll make these cougars look like something, but this was really bad.
Yeah.
Articles.
Oh, you can stop right there. Let's talk about some of the stuff that she said. 56% of Gen Z women do not want to be mothers or be married, right? That's number one.
Oh, yeah. Programming.
Number two, she said that...
We'll say programming has shifted the idea that being a mom is not a good look on you, or being a homemaker is a rewarding job. Nowadays.
Well, Harrison Butker tried to say it was, but look what they did to him.
True. Right.
She talks about this a little bit later, so I'm gonna wait for her to get it. But another strange phenomenon that's happening that no one seems to be talking about, and I've had this as a theory in the black community for a long time, but I'm starting to see that it expands further than the black community. So women are becoming more liberal and men are becoming more conservative.
Yeah.
And most of the time, what I'm finding is when I talk to a man who's in a relationship, he leans into liberalism a little bit to appease his wife, but he doesn't really agree with it.
Yeah. He'll get divorced.
Yeah. There's so many men who aren't honest with how they feel about politics just for the sake of keeping the peace at home. They're
Yep.
usually those happy wife, happy life ninjas. But the bigger concern here, she said
Yep.
something. Most Gen Z men would rather stay at home and stay on their devices, watch porn, play some gaming, and just not even attempt to socialize with friends, let alone the opposite sex.
Right.
We have a problem here with Gen Z, and I really want to call out our generation, the millennials, because we raised these ninjas.
Yeah.
And I think we may have been the first generation that said, I'd rather be your friend than your parent. And we may have been the first generation that said, screw it, I'm not gonna teach them any life skills whatsoever. Millennials, if you're anywhere close to me in age, we dropped the ball on that. And that's something that we're looking at now. We're paying for it with these consequences.
Yeah. We let a lot of people that don't have kids, that don't have healthy relationships, pretty much tell us like, hey, we got to start doing things differently so our kids have a better future, so they have a better upbringing. They are more open to other, so they can be more open to other, cultures and different mind of thinking, as opposed to like our parents or parents really. But and the fact of the matter is our parents, they didn't do a good job of helping or raising the next generation up. Unfortunately, they didn't instill the values that you need to make a family stay together, when it comes to like being having a wife and having kids, especially with one woman. And so, for that generation, it just gets worse down the road. And so, yeah, this is probably the last generation that can kind of, change the path, change the trajectory, but you're not going to be able to save everybody. You're going to be able to save people that want to listen, people that want to be in your tribe, people that, that are open to listening and really making changes. Because I see a lot of people that, especially like on Anton's channel, where you have a lot of people that definitely rock with Anton. But my question is, and it's not so much that Anton, it's like, if all these people are, making these changes, then there's definitely hope though. But, he still has a few detractors in there that try to derail everything. And so it's hard to beat any of those people though, because they tend to get the bigger voice and they derail things. But it's like, what can you really, how can you combat something like that?
Yeah, and this doesn't help either. I just posted an article from psychiatrist.com. So 42% of Gen Zers have a mental health diagnosis, yet 60% of them are taking medications related to mental health.
Yeah,
So
big pharma.
there's ninjas in here that are taking pills without even a medical diagnosis to support said pills.
Yep.
Now, Gen Z is socially awkward, and a lot of the reasons why according to the University of Puget Sound, Gen Z is socially awkward because they fear rejection, social media plays a part, and they have a tendency to be in situationships because it's easier. They don't want to do the work that comes with harder relationships. Now, a lot of you are probably asking, why is this so important? Why are you hammering on this? I promise you I'm going to end with that because this is going to affect you at some point, and I'll talk about that later. TR, what do you think?
It's I understand why Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they I will say I feel like a lot of them are lazy and they can't handle rejection. That's definitely true. So when you're lazy, you can't handle like the real truth or how life really is. And part of that is our fault as well too, as like the generation bringing up the next generation. Unfortunately, though, people are trying to correct it, and the more you try to correct it, the more people fight you on it, though. And so a lot of these people just got to find out the hard way, because there's going to come a point where I mean, there was a chick I was dating. Like, she probably, and she was like way younger. I mean, like 10 years younger than me. So I don't know where that would put her at though. But she was seeing a therapist, and she was also seeing, not seeing, but she was always taking like head meds and stuff like that. And I'm like, you're taking all these meds. That's probably what drives you like crazy though, because she would get like really antsy about things. And I was wondering, like, why do you fly off the handle on certain, like, on these type of issues? And then also had like abandonment issues and stuff like that though. And I always wonder like what was going on with that. I think it's because her therapist was too close to her in age, so her therapist was always relating to her, because the therapist was part of her generation, single mom and whatnot. And then also just taking these head meds. Like, these head meds are not helping you be like a functioning adult. Like, go off the meds for a little bit and see how you are, see how you act. Because I mean, going on medicine just is an option for a lot of people. And some people just don't want to like change, or, use that as an excuse, like why you're a jerk, why you're an asshole. So, people don't want to do stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna save my next point to after we watch the second part of this clip that I marked out.
Yep. Hold on, let me get this back to it. There we go.
It's called When It Comes to Sex, My Generation is Screwed. I mean, is this a similar situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think that one thing that we have here that's even worse is our partisan politics situation, where we know that boys are going to the right and women are going to the left. And increasingly, they're saying that they refuse to date someone on the other side of the aisle. So more than half of women say that being a conservative is a red flag. More than half say listening to Joe Rogan is a red flag. And so I think we're kind of headed towards a demographical disaster if we can't bridge the divide, at least putting politics on the back burner for romance.
How do you put it on the backside?
So, if you are a Gen Z male, right now you're liberal, but studies show as you get older, you'll become more moderate or conservative. Women will slide to the middle too, but they never fully, generally speaking, they never fully get there. And here's where we run into the other problem. If you live in a society where men and women are behaving the same, it's problematic.
Yeah.
It really is, because now you got to start having conversations about putting women in the draft, putting them on the front line to fight in combat, doing jobs where there's heavy lifting and, safety things that they typically won't do. But we know at the root of it, a lot of women will opt out of these roles. Like, women will sit and complain about the wage gap, but when you look at the types of jobs that they take versus the types of jobs that men take, it's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
The wage gap argument only makes sense if we're working in the same industry and have the same amount of experience, but that is not how men and women choose careers, and that's been proven time and time again.
Yeah.
The concern here is you guys have made politics such a big deal that you're operating like gangs, where you won't talk to the other side, you hate the other side, and you pretty much want them to cease to exist. The only thing that's missing is y'all literally aren't physically harming each other. That's the only part that's missing.
They are doing it. It's just not publicized, because if it was someone on the right doing it, it'd be all over the place.
Yeah, there's that. But politics is playing a role in this too. And I want to call out, because I said earlier, there's a reason why we're talking about this. I need you to understand what happens when the men and women aren't functioning like they should be. When you have population shrinkage, there's huge economic impacts that come with that. So think about it like this. The largest segment in the United States right now are the baby boomers, and they're all about to hit retirement. Not even close. Like, if you talk to a baby boomer, most of them have tons and tons of siblings, and they come from two-parent households. Most of them do.
Mm-hmm.
But now that the population is shrinking, there's going to be more coming out of Social Security than there is going into it. There's going to be less GDP. There's going to be a less taxable base, and this will all have impacts and implications on everyone in daily U.S. life. Now, y'all want to get out of these gender roles so bad, but what you fail to realize is gender roles keep societies alive. They're that important. Now, there does need to be conversations on respect and how you should be treated, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, I'm the protector and the provider, and you're not. And we need to get back to that.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is what they're going to do.
Warning, enemy nuke has been launched. Repeat, enemy nuke has been launched.
That is the sound of the next generation cooked. That is exactly what's going on. So rather, have a healthy discussion rather than just say like, hey, you know what, you're on that side, you voted for Trump, this is how you feel, I'm good with that. I'm on this side, I voted for Kamala, I think that she was the best candidate, my person lost. Most in a civil society, they can just say like, hey, it is what it is, I still love you as a person. After Kamala, after it was obvious, I mean, we already knew Kamala was going to lose, but after she lost, we had you Gen Z women coming out here talking about what was that South Korean movement where they were talking about swear off husbands or swear off men for like a year. I forgot what it's called. Whatever that dumb movement was called. Then you had a lot of you just crashing out on on the internet talking about how you're going to leave your boyfriends, leave your husbands. Look, I feel for you Gen Z soy boy men. I feel for y'all because y'all got to put up with all of these things that these women want to do that is going to destroy your household. Like you have kids, you have procreated with these women that will divorce you if you say anything related to like, hey, you know what, Trump's not a bad guy. You say anything positive about Trump or anything about what the conservatives are doing, you are getting divorced.
Oh yeah, if you don't agree with her 100%, she gonna get you hell on
y'all. That's your marriage. That's you going to that's you going to the courthouse, and that's your wife going to the courthouse filing for divorce. Your wife is telling everybody on Facebook, you know what? He's a good provider. He's a good man, Savannah. That's a good man. And they're divorcing you because you like the post that said Trump did a good job getting rid of the illegals or getting rid of DEI or whatever the case is. So yeah, I can definitely see the women go like just doing their own thing, having all these barriers, lines. But the funny part is they still let us bust them down. They still let them conservative men glaze their faces. Like they're still look.
Love you, whores.
They are still doing that in the bedroom while you soy boy, you liberal limp-wristed men are like trying to be the providers for these women. They don't want that. They, as much as they talk about they want to be strong and independent, they don't want to be strong and independent because they're hoping that some simps like you are going to take care of them after they've been slutted out by all these, conservative chads. So regardless of what they tell you, what they don't want, and what they say on the dating apps, they're still going to mess with those men because at the end of the day, they still want leadership. They won't say it online. They won't say it to their girlfriends because they'll get kicked out of the club, the sisterhood, the traveling pants. They'll get kicked out of those. But this is what they're craving for. And for some of the videos that we've done of women just crashing out, we have some videos coming up where women are just not, and these are younger women, they're just not, coping with or having to deal with life by themselves. And also, this is the question you should be asking for men. If they're willing to divorce you and wreck their family, wreck your family, why are you with them? Well, seriously, why are you with them? If that's
especially
all it
over
takes.
something trivial like politics. If that's the only, I get some things you got to agree on, but if that was I can't do
breaking
it, I'm going
point,
to leave you because it is. Not
no.
because he kept you safe or provided for you, because you have slight political differences.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like your marriage wasn't on a strong foundation anyway. I
Oh
do
yeah.
want to call something out though. We talked a couple weeks ago about how male incels are on the rise. 1 in 3 men have not had physical contact with a woman, sexual physical contact, or intimate physical contact with the woman within the last year. That's not the case with women. They still getting it in.
Oh yeah, they're still, yeah.
If they meet somebody with some bread, all these lines that they standing on are going to disappear.
Yep, still
because he
getting
got that
flooded out.
bread, and at the end of the day, they want to be provided for, protected.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's all chaos.
Yeah, and again, for the men out there, that's the one thing you got to worry about though, because if you don't have any kids with this woman, and she is talking about hey kumbaya and all that crap, at the end of the day, if a dude with the right amount of money comes around, he's taking your chick. That's just all it is. And you could say, I went to all those protests. I wore the pink hat. I did all these things for you. She don't care. She's going to be like, I didn't ask you to do that for me. Like, we have all been there, men. We have all definitely been there. I'm just saying, you see the writing on the wall. These women are doing whatever they want. They still voted for Kamala. I mean, even the black community at the 92 percenters, they're still out there, but they're still messing with the same men that they swear that they dislike, or the men that voted for Trump. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to like the business and money, they're still willing to do all the things that they won't do with you because you respect them. Get out of here.
Yeah, and let me say this again because I don't want to turn this into a we bashing Gen Z. Millennials failed y'all. They didn't mentor you. They didn't teach you. I say we because I'm a millennial too.
Yeah.
I do mentor some men who are younger than me, and I'm trying to help them not make the same mistakes I made. But generally speaking, we don't do that. And truth be told, if you talk to most millennials, they've never seen a functional relationship between a man and a woman. They had to figure it out on their own.
Especially a
So they,
black mom, black father. Like
hey,
those
real
are starting
talk.
to become more
The the
rare.
the first healthy relationship that I saw was a damn TV relationship. It was the Cosby Show. That was
Yeah,
the first time I saw a black husband and a black wife that coexisted and it wasn't drama attached
we
to
know
it.
how that turned out.
That's sad as hell to say. But I figured it out. I'm in a functional happy marriage, but everybody ain't got that story.
Yeah, and some people will figure it out. So that's a good part, is some people will figure it out. Some people will look at their surroundings and say, like, I don't want that. I want to go the opposite. I do not want to be competing against men. And if my, husband says this is how the household's going to go, then that's where I'm going to go. I'm not there to divide the household. Like, the funny thing about it, most of these men, you would not even let anyone at your job like tell you how things are going to happen. Like, you lose your mind when somebody that's like, below you or on the same level as you tells you how to do your job. You lose your mind. You wouldn't even let that even fly. But at home, you're just you cower in fear that your wife doesn't leave you, and you hope that she doesn't go on one of her tirades, or her, she's in love with her work husband.
Yeah, there's that.
happy Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
So, oh yeah, let's get back to that video. Wait, did we listen to the rest of it?
Yeah, I'm good. You
Okay.
can run yours if you want.
All right. Well, we'll just go to the next topic then.
So I know it's the internet and you guys can say whatever you want, but after my last video, like, I put things out here because I really thought like women would pick it up, but everything in the comments is a lot of guys, and like most of the comments are hurtful and like probably unnecessary, but whatever, it's the internet. But I don't think like you have the whole picture of who I am, what I've been through.
Through a lot of D.
I was in a 6-year relationship with somebody. They moved from Florida to Arizona with my boys and I a year and a half ago. 3 months in, he went back to Florida and he never came back. And so I dealt with all of that for a long time. And then I told myself that I was ready, like I was healed and I was ready to like let someone into my life. And because I'm new to Arizona and stuff, I was like, well, I'll get on a dating app. So I did, and I met this guy, and it was great. Like during my healing process, I knew like exactly what I was not willing to take from my past relationship and accept, and what I was looking for in a partner, and somebody that would be good for my boys too, because they're younger. They still have quite a few years in the home. So this person was great and our energy matched. He reciprocated the feelings. I actually was like feeding off of his energy. And then on a random Tuesday, literally a random Tuesday, he decided I wasn't for him. And that broke my heart because I had gone through like all of this healing. And it's like, why do people heal just to be hurt again? So I feel like I'm like on the downward hill of turning 40, and like I'm a genuinely like good person, And it just hurts that, like, I just don't know why.
Where are the tears
I
at?
always get hurt. I always get like the short end of the stick because the
Oh,
person
right there.
that went back to Arizona or back to Florida, they're thriving, like doing well. They're dating somebody else, and me, I'm like. So I think I just need to like work on being okay being alone. It's just hurtful, and so I know from like other people's videos that there are people feeling the same way. And so I just share and I'm vulnerable. I didn't expect all the hurtful, hateful comments.
All right. Let me take a look at these comments that she says oh so hurtful. And that was what we called, folks, trauma bonding as well. Look, I'm gonna pull the comments over here real quick, but this is kind of what we were just talking about earlier about how y'all don't know how to be in relationships, how y'all don't know how to keep your relationships. I know she said, you know, I think it was her father or kid left or something, and then she got a new dude or whatever the case is, and it didn't sound like he had kids. Sounds like she had 2 boys. I am going to tell y'all right now, if you got 2 boys and you try and get on the dating market, it's a wrap. It's going to be difficult for you. No guy, look, we are going to, we'll let you do that. But as far as marriage, good luck. There are a lot of men that are just going to step into that role, a lot of liberal men that are going to step into that role and try to like save you in these situations. You definitely have to go back to some traditional values of what men are really looking for, which I know a lot of women don't want to, don't want to go back to traditionalism. But essentially, I can't even tell you how many women that I've dated that had kids, they didn't know how to cook. They said the guy before them was the one that cooked. I'm like, what? So what do you know how to do? Like I can cook some things. We got kids. Don't you know how to cook? And I know somebody will be like, well, you're the guy, you know how to cook. Look, I get that. It's not important for me to be a great cook, but it's also important. But I think for a lot of women, especially when you have the kids, majority of the time, you should know how to cook. I feel like that's the case and y'all don't want to cook. And that guy, I bet you money, it was more of a problem probably with the kids than it was with her, or she's just not telling the whole story on it. So essentially, you can trauma bond with all the women thinking that, you know, it's not you, it's him or whatever the case is. She's still alone. I mean, she'll find a guy that you know that'll bust her down, but she probably won't get married till those kids age out, honestly.
I have a lot of questions based on what she said because she's doing that XX deflect thing. So here's my thing. I believe there's 3 sides to every story. There's your side, there's his side, and then there's the truth, which is probably somewhere in the middle. She talked about the first guy. She gave him 6 years. That's your first problem right there.
6.
And
Oh, I didn't even pick that up. Yeah.
yeah, I tell women this all the time. If you're dating with the intent to be married, you need to stop playing the stake that from the jump because what you have to be direct with men. It's up, and then once you give him that information, it's up to him to figure out: am I wasting my? Am I going to play? I can't play with her. She's
Yeah.
serious, and I can't mess around and waste her time. That's number one. Number two, and I'm going to say this every single time I hear a woman complain. Whenever I meet a woman, and I've said this before, the very first question I ask myself is, whose protection are you under? Because
Yeah.
these guys that you bringing around your kids, who's vetting them? I'm sorry, women, but you can't vet men
Probably their
by
dog.
yourself. You need another man who actually is a man and stands on manhood and is a traditional man to
Yeah.
help you vet these men to see what they're really about. That's number two. And number three, if you want to be a wife, are you conducting yourself like one? I don't know enough about this lady to say if she is or if she isn't, but if you are posting lots of thirst traps on social media, or you out here going to the club every weekend, or you have terrible spending habits, or you have very, very young kids, you might not be in that space right now.
Yeah. Or
So
hardcore leftists.
yeah, I mean that's going to be a problem too because truth be told, most heterosexual men are at least moderate or conservative. They're
Yeah.
going to pretend like they're liberal to probably get in your draws, but most heterosexual men are either moderate or conservative. You need to understand that, and
Yeah.
you need to make peace with that.
Yeah.
So those are all the things that I'm seeing. It sounds to me like either she doesn't have proper protection, or B, she has protection and she wasn't listening to it. I would have a lot of questions to ask her if I was ever talking with her. But you said something earlier about her having two kids, meaning she's basically cooked.
Two boys.
I Two boys. I would say it just depends on how old they are. If they're very, very young, then yeah, you probably need to take a break from dating for a while, because you don't. What you don't want to do is bring a bunch of men around a bunch of young boys, because they're going to think it's normal. As they get older, they'll start to understand, hey, mommy's out here trying to find somebody, and it's probably more acceptable then. But even when you get out there in the dating market, say you meet a man with no kids and he knows that you have two, he's perfectly within his rights to say, no, this ain't the lifestyle that I want, and exit the date. If you meet somebody with two or more, then you got to have the mixed blended family conversations, which complicates things even further.
Yeah.
So all these things have to be considered. But honestly, what would solve this is if we all chose correctly the first time. And let's be honest, none of us have. But this is why we have to learn from other people's mistakes. And this is why we talk about the Travis Hunters and whoever else comes up on our podcast, because you got to learn from other people's mistakes and pass that game on to the next generation.
Yeah.
Her protection has failed her at some point, and I would like to explore that more if I actually talk to this lady. But that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. And this is the other thing. This is so I know folks, I've probably been a little harsh on this woman, but look, this should be a lesson for the women out there, because I mean, even for me, like most time if I do date a woman, she probably has kids. Most women tend to have kids though, but especially if they get over 30 or they've been married or whatever, they tend to have kids anyways. But for a lot of women, like if you keep your giving a guy 6 years is wild to me. Like 6 years of just hoping. Like this is the thing, is that you give a guy 6 years, you kind of get what you get in that situation. And so if that was the father of a kid, I mean the kids are very young then. So when you do stuff like that, you're definitely going to be put yourself in a bad situation. You're not going to be able to have like you're wasting time essentially. So either you got to figure out like if this is the right guy for me, or you just got to move on. And that really sucks for the guys though. I mean, this is where the accountability comes in for the men. You don't have time to be wasting on a woman that you are not going to marry or even like want to have around you. Like if a woman's not bringing value to you, then why is she around? You can say physical all you want, but that physical, she can't be physical every single day. So the day she's not physical, what value is she bringing to you? Why do you have her and her kids around you and you don't have no plans to like marry her? Like that's the question that I want to know from the men, because you can't be doing stuff like this because it's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your time and your energy. Yeah, I would have so much damn money if I would have if what I know now versus the younger version of myself, I would have a lot of money. I've had a lot of opportunities. So you don't, and unfortunately for men, you don't figure this stuff out till you get to your late 30s and sometimes your 40s. Like you just don't figure this stuff out. But for you women, y'all ain't got time to be playing. Like when it comes to like value for you, you're getting your value early in life. You're getting your value, especially after you go to college and then you get out of college. You're getting your value because people are like, you're young, you look good, you're in the best shape of your life. But you get to your mid 30s and onto your 40s, it's harder. It's hard to find a guy that is going to take you and your boys, especially when it comes to boys, because boys are very protective of their moms. So they either turn into son husbands or they hate their mom. It's generally that path. And so what'll happen is that they'll push that man out. So either you got to figure out like what are you going to do with your sons, or you just got to wait till your kids get a little older, because 16, 17, they kind of want to do their own thing. They don't care about who you're dating. But when they're in that 13, 12 or 13, they're going to be all up in your business. So good luck, men.
Yeah, we should probably talk about how the son husband dynamic ruins dating next week, because there's a good conversation to be had there too.
Yeah.
I'm going to make note of that. But again, let me tell y'all something right now. When it comes to us dating, y'all, we basically put y'all into two categories. Either she's for play or she's for stay. And the truth of the matter is, we know pretty quick if you're wifey material or not. Kevin Samuels used to always use the 6 month rule. I would surmise that you can probably find out sooner than that if you are wise and you shut the hell up and you listen and you pay attention to how she acts instead of what she says and what she posts. You gotta, like, there's a full vetting system here, but a man who is wise and intelligent can pretty much tell very quickly
Yes.
if she's the wife or not. And that's the thing that y'all got to realize. So if you are dating with the intent to be married, you need to state that from the very beginning. Hey, I don't want to play games with you. I'm not saying you got to do it right now, but I want you to know that I'm looking for a husband. Or in her case, I'm looking for a husband and a father slash mentor to my two boys.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like the baby's father ain't active. So that's something to be considered too. You're not just putting somebody in the house to give you some D and to pay all your bills. Now your young boys is watching him and looking at him as an example of manhood. This
Yeah.
is the type of stuff that women don't think about.
Yeah.
They
And
only
why
think
is
about
mommy
what
alone yet?
benefits they can get from it.
Yeah.
It's not just you anymore, man. You have two sons.
Yep. And she's going to see how you treat, not she, but your sons. They're going to see how you treat men, how men are, how you expect. That's going to define what a relationship's going to be. So if you are not, if you don't have that, happy relationship with that father, or at least you're not, fixing his plate, adoring that father, making sure that he comes first, your sons are going to have a very jilted look, or tilted, I should say, look on what relationship should look like. And
Yeah.
so, unfortunately, that's kind of the plight. And so, for her, and I looked at some of these comments. People are like, "You're young." If she's trying to find somebody, her options are very slim. Like, you better make sure you stay in the gym, and you better make sure when your boys get to a certain age, or at least have the conversation with the boys, like, "Mom's trying to get you guys a new daddy." Like, you got to do whatever it is, because at the end of the day, it should come at. I mean, if the father, let's say the father's not active, the father's not around for whatever reason, you're gonna need two incomes. You're gonna need someone to kind of help you. Like, when all these people are talking about how eggs are going up, I can't tell. Y'all still buying them, and it's expensive. Y'all are still buying them. So
Yep.
we buying them on credit, or what's going on there? So if the economy is not to your liking, or at least the money doesn't go as far as it used to, where are you going to get that money at? Because if you're not getting married and you're just with these random men, that's only going to work for a little bit. So you're going to have to like work on yourselves, and you're going to have to like pretty much give men what they want. Men want somebody that's fit, feminine, friendly. Those F's are still always going to ring true, no matter what generation you're in, like, or whatever the time period is. It's always going to be true.
Yeah, what you just described is called inelastic demand. That's a term that's used in economics. And what does that mean? That essentially means no matter what the cost is, you still gonna buy it. And it's the same thing with dating. Like, some women get
Yeah.
so desperate that their demand for men is inelastic. There's the more risk that there is, you're still gonna pay that price. You still want to give him your time.
Yep.
But for the fellas, let me tell you this too: be quiet and let this woman talk and watch how she acts. Women love to show you who they are. Sometimes you just get so infatuated
Especially if they cry.
by the hips and the breast and the butt that you ignore it. But women will always show you who they are.
Yeah.
And I always say you will never know who a woman is until you see her angry, until you see how she looks when she first wakes up in the morning, and how she reacts when the world tells her no. Those are the best ways to see what kind of woman you have. And you need to peep game and watch that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And it's another CJism, is when it comes to like a woman crying on the internet, don't believe her. You don't know the full story. You don't know exactly what she's telling you she's the hero in her own story. And I see that a lot, where a lot of women are saying, I can't get a man, or whatever the case is. Shocking. This is her most highly rated video of her life. Not her life, but on her page. And so it's interesting that she's coming on the TikTok to try to find a daddy for somebody. And if she really was struggling, she got plenty of you simps are in the chat. Let me just show a couple. Like, of course the women are going to stay on the sisterhood code, but she's saying 40 is still young. Doctors say you can't get pregnant, or you have trouble getting pregnant around that age, but whatever. It's better to be alone and happy than miserable and settle with the wrong person. You're not settling with the wrong person. Like, I know some people may not You have ups and downs in your marriages, but it's not settling. Like, you should not be settling if this is the woman that is the love of your life, and the woman should have the same thing. The problem is these women, they change their minds, and they don't know why they're changing their minds. Maybe it is because of the hormones and the what it was, the birth control, or some of the head meds that are on. I really think that's kind of the case, and some of that medicine is sterilizing some of you women, which is probably why you can't even get pregnant anymore. So,
Yeah.
this guy says, I'm sorry, there are good guys out here, the men that she's wanting, or wherever the case is, they're out there. All these simps that are out here, they will definitely wife her up for whatever, under whatever the circumstances. The problem is she don't want those guys. She don't want you soy boys. She want the guys on the right that will take care of her. And unfortunately for the men, this is the truth. You get your money up, you'll be able to do a lot of things. You'll be able to have pick whatever woman you want. If you want to save baby mamas, you'll have the ability to do that. But
we talked about that attractability matrix last week. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I should just have that queued up, ready to go, though, because that's definitely true. Once you get your money up, you'll be able to do anything. So if your thing is to save baby mamas, you'll be able to do that. But for a lot of you men, again, if this woman has kids, and maybe she is, she's submitting or not submitting, whatever the case is. If she's not doing all those things to bring value to you, then you should not be with her. You should not be with her 1%. If she's just for play, let her be for play. You don't have to tell her that she's for play. Just like, hey, I'm not doing anything serious, or I don't want to get married, and I don't want this to be a serious thing. It's up to you to decide. You don't have to be as blatant as, say, I just want to, just have sex with you. Just say, like, hey, I'm not looking to do anything serious. I don't want to be a father. Or if you do want to have kids, she's in her 40s. And if this guy doesn't have kids, most men are going to want to have kids. So either you got to figure out you're going to have kids again at 40 or whatever the age is, or you need to move on to a different guy. Like, you don't have time to be playing, but they want to keep playing. They want to get their heads, they want to have the chat. People in their comments tell them that, hey, you still have a chance out here. No, you don't. Most women out there, they're going to die alone.
And we're not trying to sell y'all dreams, man. There's a lot of other podcasts that do that, but I have an unpopular opinion. TR, you might even disagree with this. If it's properly done correctly, meaning there was proper vetting, there was proper counseling and training, you should get married as early as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm saying that is the longer you out here in this game, the more bodies you're going to get, the more traumas are going to build up, the more you're going to distrust people, and it's too risky. I got married at 26, and a lot of people thought that was too young. But one thing I realized once I started to step into my masculinity was how full of it most women and most people, period, are. There was no other reason for me to be out here skating around and doing the goofy stuff that I used to do when I was younger. I had to chill out. So my advice to men and women, if it's done properly, meaning that y'all were properly vetted, the parents approved, there's marriage counseling, I'll take it even this far. You should meet with a divorce attorney during premarital counseling and sit there and have them tell you about how the heartbreaks and the financial stress and the mental stress that you have to go through when you get a divorce. You should have to pay an attorney his or her retainer and sit there and listen to them talk about that, so you can really have something to think about before you make that leap. But again, you brought this up earlier, TR. I'm just going to reinforce it. A woman is born with value. Her challenge is, as she gets older, it decreases. So she's got to work to protect the value that she has.
Yes.
A man is born with no value, and his value increases as he gets older based on his outcomes, results, and so on. I know your mama told you was special, young man, but outside of that house, no, you weren't. You got to go out there and build up your empire just like every other man has before you.
Yeah. And so when society's telling you to, go left, or this is, you got to, adhere to some of the crazy, those type of folks, those are going to they're going to lead you down the wrong path. You can't listen to those people. You just need to focus on what's in the best interest of yourself, and then figure out what you want to do. Because as soon as other people start telling you how to date, and when you should not be upset, or when you should not have standards in your own relationship, you've already lost. and that marriage is doomed. That marriage is probably going to end in divorce. So, take this woman. This is a learning lesson. Again, whenever a woman is crying, you can't believe them because you don't know the full story, what's really going on. And have her boyfriends come up here, and they probably have to like disguise their voice because I know the internet will come after them. But that's who you really need to talk to see if like what's going on with this person, if she truly is a good person. And I find that usually they're not. They have a lot of issues that impair their ability to be in a long-lasting relationship, and kids definitely complicate that. But you would think, as a woman, the best thing to do is to make sure your kids are taken care of and provided for. But we know that's not the case. That's not what's happening in society today. So
She said he just upped and left from Florida with no reason why. Really?
probably
We
get
supposed to
milk and
believe that?
cigarettes.
Come on, lady, you hiding some stuff.
Yeah. So it is what it is. All right. Last topic.
I wish I was in Congress. That Jasmine Crockett lady, see, she needs somebody like me to handle her. Yeah, that's what it is. This lady had a nerve to get up there and say that Trump is turning America into Russia. Jasmine Crockett, where were you when we, the citizens of Chicago, the black citizens, the black people that you like to reference to, the one you use, the citizens, the black people that you always trying to use the race card with, where were you when the black citizens of Chicago and everywhere were telling you that they were trying, your party were trying to make our neighborhoods and our communities look like little Venezuela?
Mm-hmm.
Where were you when we were complaining about that and said that they were trying to push us out of our neighborhoods, out of the black community, when we were complaining, going up there arguing with Brandon Johnson about that? Where were you? I didn't see you say anything about that. And then you got the nerve to say Trump trying to make America like Russia. You mean how you all tried to make America look like Venezuela on steroids? That you got a lot of nerves. See, the problem is you don't have the right people in Congress that's going to come against you, that's going to go right there with you. I wish I was, because I would be that one. Also, how is it that you all have a problem with Elon doing what he's supposed to do and doing what we asked him to do, talking about social security numbers and all that sensitive information? You all were not saying that when you all gave unelected bureaucrats our information. They've been sending money and stuff like that. They've been we're talking about people that's broke people, unelected bureaucrats have access to our information that you all allowed to. You all was not saying that then. It was okay that for broke people to work for the federal government, U.S. aid, to go in there and have our information, sensitive information.
Facts.
You all wasn't crying and complaining then. Now y'all want to complain. No, we good. We good. We, the American people, we trust Elon, a billionaire, way more than we trust you. Because we know you a thief and you done stole a bunch of money. You, Pelosi, all of them. Now we are asking next, Elon, please send Doge to Chicago and Illinois. Now we want them. We want those crooks, all of them, to go to jail. I keep telling y'all, you all keep thinking it's sweet.
All right, I'm just gonna go there.
For the record, we need to call out. She's a part of the organization turned Chicago Red. And some of the things that they've done have been very impactful in a positive way for black folks in Chicago. Brandon Johnson has tried to raise the taxes twice in the city of Chicago. Man, okay.
My bad.
I'm still a man at the end of the day.
My bad. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad, guys. My bad, audience. My bad.
I'm a look. I ain't gonna touch, but
that's my bad. Respect to Danelle Carter. Go ahead.
Yeah, shout out to Danelle Carter. But again, I want to call out that her and her organization have twice blocked this mayor of Chicago from raising taxes on them as a solution to pay for the migrant problems that they were having.
Yep.
So this is where it gets challenging for me, because pro-blacks typically say vote blue no matter who, or I'm with her. But what they're not realizing is there are black people who are suffering. It's not just Chicago. We talked about New York. We talked about Aurora, Colorado. We talked about San Diego. We talked about San Francisco. Hell, we talked about down here in Arizona. Like illegal immigration has negatively impacted black people, and since we're approaching this from a pro-black perspective, I'm gonna keep it pro-black. Black people have suffered because of illegal immigration, but the news doesn't cover this. So we got to go and watch videos from podcasts or foreign news entities that will show videos of gang members in Chicago saying, look, we about to unify and get these guys out of here because they walking around with assault rifles in our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
They kicking people out of buildings and neighborhoods. We heard about the killings and the kidnappings and the grapes in New York. And we know about the apartment
Georgia.
building in Aurora, Colorado that got took over. These were all black people that suffered because of these actions. So, black people, I'm talking to you right now. I'm talking to us right now. Please consider the overall impact of a policy or what your party is doing, not just how it makes you feel. Because I can go much, much deeper on how Biden and Harris further hurt black people from a legal perspective in jailing. There's a
Right,
lot
no
of stuff they
joke.
don't talk about on the news that you got to dig really deep to find it.
Yeah. You know, one of the things when it comes to like trying to deliver a message, just like Danielle just did, I mean, obviously she's a beautiful woman and she is somebody that's been passionate. She's been doing this. Well, I don't know what Danielle was doing prior to this, but enough had happened in Chicago where they needed to do something different. And this is what you do. You got to get out there and you got to have these conversations on the internet. You got to have these conversations to where um, your voice is magnified because honestly, I didn't see a lot of conservative women, especially conservative black women, go on like the CNNs or the ABCs or the NBCs. I did see one, I forget the girl's name. She was on Fox for a little bit, but and she was at one of Trump's rallies as well too. But I didn't
About
see
Michaela Montgomery?
yeah, Mikhail Montgomery. Thank you. So I didn't see a lot of just conservative black women really go on a lot of these shows and really have a conversation, or at least like CNN. If you guys want to get your ratings up, start having an unbiased, and a very balanced approach to these conversations. There should be no reason why the Michaela Montgomerys or even Danelle Carter and other women and men that are conservative and they're black, why they can't go on your show and just have a conversation with one of your reporters, because you guys will you'll bring a lot of these people up there. Especially there was that recent CNN outburst where the chick was like, I'm the most, I have the most degrees and I should be paid more, but I'm not paid more. Like, this is the thing. Y'all are worried about the wrong things, and you just want to see a black face there. Like, I think that's what the black community is like really leaning towards. And don't think just because it's the black community is a problem. You white liberals are also a problem as well too, because you think you're doing the right thing and you really aren't. What you're doing is you're selling the black community a dream while you're using them to push your ideology, while you're using them to push your agenda. Because make no mistake, as much as DEI gets pushed on the black people, and that's not from the right, people on the left connect DEI to black people. DEI is not helping the majority of black people. DEI helps a small percentage of black Americans, and they're generally women that are, if they do get in a DEI situation, it's generally black women will get be able to take advantage. But for the most part, it's people that are from the rainbow community, generally white women, that are taking advantage of the whole DEI thing. So as much as people want to say, well, we got to fight for DEI. No, we don't. You don't have to fight for DEI. And this is another thing that's going to upset some people, but you don't have to fight for reparations either, because the Democrats are going to do everything in their power to not give you reparations. And if you
They were the ones that killed it in California. The California Democrats killed reparations.
Yes. The California Democrats and the correct Congressional Black Caucus in California, they killed the reparations conversation, the bill. So this isn't about, does the United States have the money? Like, no. You should be asking, why are Democrats getting in the way of representing the black community? Where are black Democrats or Democrats getting in the way of representing their black voters? You should be asking that question first, and then you should be asking, why are some of the white liberals quiet when it comes to like reparations? They don't ever have a conversation about this. Why are they quiet when it comes to like Black Americans getting pushed out of their neighborhoods in favor of these illegals? They don't want to have that conversation either, because they know if they have that conversation, they're gonna come off like, oh, you know what, this sounds a little racist-y, so I gotta back away from it. But essentially, that's what it is. So you're useful when it comes to like bashing the conservatives or Trump, but you're not useful when it comes to pushing policies or making any meaningful change for the Black community. And I'm not on that, you got to do something for the Black community if you want my vote. At the end, or I shouldn't say that. I'm not on the line that in order for me to vote for you, you have to be 100% on the Diddy crack side. No. I am going to vote for who has the best policies for me and then also for the community. I'm not going to just look for someone that say, hey, I'm only going to do X, Y things for these types of people. You should want a president that's going to look out for everybody, not for individual groups, because when they do that, that is how we get the Hillary Clintons, the Bill Clintons, the Barack Obamas that will look out for everybody else, but they won't do anything for the Black community or the people that they campaign for. But when it comes to actually doing something, they don't do anything.
Yeah. And while we giving shout outs to Black conservative women, shout out to Angela Stanton King, because she's been a real one for a very long time. I got to give her props. She takes a lot of heat, but she stands 10 toes down on it, and she just keeps running her nonprofit that supports single Black moms trying to give a better life to their kids. Salute to Angela Stanton King. I need y'all to understand something about Black people and conservatism, and I'm telling you this so it doesn't break your heart later, because it's going to break a lot of y'all's hearts. I posted an article, I think we talked about it maybe a month ago. Black support in the Democratic Party has been declining since every year since 2010. That's going to keep happening. I just need
Yep.
y'all to know that. Right now, you're seeing more and more Black men who are conservative, but I think the women are going to catch up. I personally know a lot of conservative Black women, but they don't like to publicly talk about it because they get attacked the worst. They do. They
Oh
really
yeah,
do.
they
And
catch
it's,
the most
it's generally
smoke.
by other women.
The
Yeah.
most racist people are white liberals when they find out that you're a Black conservative.
Yeah, no doubt. And I just posted an article. This is just to kind of give y'all perspective. This is not just a United States thing. More and more Black people are coming out conservative globally. There's many examples that I can list, but I wanted to stick to the UK for now. But you're going to hear a lot more about this in Africa. You're going to hear more about this in a lot of these European countries as well. Red waves are happening everywhere. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, so y'all better get ready for it. You can point fingers, or you can sit and talk to these people and have intellectual conversations and see why they feel the way they are and maybe come to some common ground. But I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And finally, I'll say this. Y'all, and I'm talking to the pro blacks now. Y'all strongest arguments about these Black conservatives, I call it the Candace Owens argument. Because Candace Owens is right about a lot of stuff, but there's stuff I disagree with too.
Yeah.
But their biggest argument against them is how can you identify with the Black families when you don't even date or marry Black?
Fact.
If that's how you feel, cool. But I'm telling you, what's going to happen next is you're going to see a Black man and a Black woman who are both conservative, who are in a healthy and functional marriage that is going to enter politics at some point. And I'm going to be sitting there eating my popcorn, waiting to see how many heads explode when that happens.
Oh yeah, they won't say anything, just like they won't say anything about Kamala Harris's Doug Pimp Hand Imhoff. They're unfortunately, if when it comes to when it comes to being a conservative.
Oh, real quick. So I gotta bring up Angela Stanton King again because somebody asked her, "How can you support Donald Trump?" And she basically said, "I'm gonna do the same thing that Kamala Harris does when she goes home every night: is trust the white man." That was her response. Like I'm telling you,
I
a
forgot
lot of
about
these
that.
women are sharp and they ready. Y'all been getting at them for so long that they got real
Yeah.
thick skin and they ready.
Yeah. That unfortunately though, it's going to be a difficult thing because when you're a conservative, especially Black or white, or either one, you're gonna catch a lot of arrows, you can catch a lot of daggers. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of these people, they work for conservative people. They just don't say it out loud. They can't say it on the LinkedIn's and their social media. They can't say any of that stuff though. But it's going to be out of the detriment. And so when it comes to like seeing more Black people involved like in some of these parties, I definitely think the tide will change. There was a video that I saw that I can't pull it up now, but essentially with the whole illegal thing that's happening, what the illegal, or they're not even illegal. I don't think these people are illegal that are posting the video, but what Mexican Americans are doing, they are going online and saying like, hey, black people, you need to come out here and help us defend this illegal immigration thing against Donald Trump. We were there when you wanted to burn down the cities during the Summer of Love, BLM riots. And so we need you to show up. And so whenever I see these videos, I don't see any black people at any of these, these protests or, potential riots. I don't see any black people there. So I'm just saying.
Let me just counter that. Let me just counter that with an article. I just posted another article. I don't know if you all remember who Nuri Martinez is. She was a city councilwoman in California, Mexican lady. Hated black people. Hated them. Got caught on tape saying some stuff about black people. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you to stop choosing your allies based on race. Choose them based on character.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember this. I think she lost her seat.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then it just came out the FEMA either director or whoever is one of the heads at FEMA just lost their job though, because they were funneling money after they were told not to funnel any more money to some of these migrant shelters, and they're funneling money to luxury hotels for a lot of these illegals. And I believe that woman's nationality was of Mexican or Latin descent or whatever you want to call it. So as much as people want to say, I want people that look like us, that is a very dangerous precedent, because you're expecting these people to look like you, and you're expecting them to only care about what's going on in your communities. And that's not it. That's not how you run that's not how America runs, because we have all types of people. We all come from different walks of life. There are some, there are going to be some differences that, we're not going to be able to relate to. But at the end of the day, when it comes to like policies, we should all want the same thing. And we also should not want the government that's just squandering our money on DEI initiatives in countries that don't even care about even coming to the United States, though. So when you have these Danelle Carters, you got to start listening to these women. And all y'all ever tell me is listen to black women. She's a black woman, and y'all don't listen to her.
Listening to all of anybody and believing all of anybody is the dumbest thing you can do.
Yeah.
No matter what segment of people you're looking at, every segment of people has good people and scumbags. So when you say believe all, fill in the blank with any group you want to,
victim.
You're setting yourself up to be betrayed and played. Whoever you align yourself with, do it based on character.
Yeah.
Look, I know some real solid people that ride for me till the wheels fall off. And most of them were black, I'll be honest. But lately, I didn't add in some white folks. I got a couple white folks in the rotation that if I make that call, they're gonna ride with me if something needs to get handled.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to get to that space, but you should choose your allies based on character, not skin color, because that's gonna fail you.
Yeah, and then and I'll close on this. When it comes to like picking the people in your circle, I mean, when you want to learn about money, there's plenty of people you can talk to, but not everybody knows how to manage money, or when it comes to like real estate or stock trading, or like just in the business of like maybe even coding. There's a segment of people that know how to do this stuff. And if you are on the mindset of like, well, because they're a Trump supporter, they're conservative, they're white, you're never going to grow. You have to be able to be open to other people, be open to other races, and not even races, because really we're talking about like people have a problem with conservatives. So different ideologies other than your own, because I would never say like, hey, I can never learn from someone that's on the liberal side or that's a Democrat. Every now and then, a broke clock is right twice a day. But I always, I'll listen, try to convince me. But until then, I only ask for that same, reciprocate that same respect though, because if I say something, I can't have people just like trying to cut me off or like saying like, hey, no, what about this? What about that? He did this, blah, blah, blah. No. If we're going to talk about policies, keep it the policies, and then call out the fuckery when it happens.
I see good things for both parties, believe it or not. At this particular point in time, the right is making more sense. And they have better conversations, honestly. I noticed that a lot of the sign language comes from people who lean left. They don't want to sit and have a conversation with you. It's just if you don't agree with me, I'm going to insult you and guilt you into agreeing with me.
Yep, ad
And
hominem
people on the
attacks.
right, especially black folks who lean right, they're so used to being disrespected that they just like, all right, it is what it is. If you want to talk, we'll talk, but otherwise, I'm gonna just walk off.
Right.
And I know that that's the good people on both sides argument. And truthfully, the Democrats have benefited black people in a lot of ways in the past.
Yeah.
But I'm calling into question how they're benefiting the party in the present. And
Yeah.
that's
In the
something that needs
future.
to be discussed. Future too.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, that'll wrap up this episode. Any last words, MC?
No, just keep being great, man. Valentine's Day is coming up too. Don't forget, these heterosexual women ain't getting no old faces. So fellas, get to work. Take care of your ladies. Make sure she take care of you too.
Yeah. And if you don't have one, if you don't have one for a Valentine's Day, you can always be a side chick day. That's February. That's actually tomorrow. So if you have a date
Oh,
on
that's
the
a real
13th,
thing.
yeah, if you have a
Oh
date
wow.
on the 13th, you're the side chick, but you're doing a good service.
Hey, side chicks, that's the world's oldest industry, I guess.
Hey, they need love too. Anyways, ciao, everybody.
Peace.